that can still take you out as Osisioma, so that you can bypass the gory nature of the federal road. What did the current senatorial candidate of PDP, in the person of Governor Kezie Ikpeazu, do about that road? Even if it's just a short-term measure to mitigate the suffering of the so-called people you want to represent. What Abaribe has done over time was to play an IPOP. Because you are Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's guarantor, so that you can be popular on the streets among those who are disgruntled with the government. So if you are guaranteeing somebody who wants Biafra, what are you doing in Nigerian Senate? I think the best way Abaribe can protest and align himself with the Biafran struggle is not to run for office in Nigeria and wait when Biafra comes. He can now be Senate President of the Federal Republic of Biafra.
Are you saying that Abaribe is actually playing on the intelligence of Abians?
He's not I'm not saying that's what he's doing. I said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not shifted ground from his quest for a Biafra Republic. And Abaribe has always aligned with that, to the point that he was his
guarantor.
So I'm saying, how can you be guaranteeing someone who wants Biafra and you are in the Nigerian Senate? I think his personal protest, the best way to show Nigerians that he's not happy with Nigeria, that he's aligning with the cry of the struggle, is not to bother associate himself with anything that has to do with the federal government of Nigeria. So he has not done well as a senator for 16 years. He speaks very well. As somebody who admires public speakers, I would really admire Abaribe. He has a good command of English language. That is all he has. Abaribe has nothing on ground. And having done 16 years, I think Abian should start looking the direction of any other party other than ABGA or PDP.
Right, we'll see that. Well, let's move over right now to Anambra State, where we have some dilemma really going on there now. And there's been this opinion, and which is really making the rounds today. It's whether or not the Anambra people will actually have a struggle for who to really put on for the presidential race in Anambra State. Now, Ikenna Obianeri writes on the dilemma of the people of Anambra State as they grapple with choosing within the two presidential candidates from the state ahead of the February 2023 general elections, as candidates and various political parties continue to intensify campaigns and rallies around across the country in build-up to the 2023 general elections. The political turf in the country is already turbocharged as the major gladiators, the presidential candidates, traverse the country to woo voters to their sides. Now, in the 36 states of the Federation, Anambra is going to be one of the centers of attraction in the February 2023 polls. Now, why is this so? This is because two presidential candidates are from the state. Obi of the Labour Party and the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, who is the current party in rulership in Anambra State, Justice Peter Umedi, is one of them. Now, who will be battling each other for the votes of their home states? This is because Obi, who is currently making waves across the country with his obedience movement, was a former governor of Anambra State between 2006 and 2014 under the platform of ABGA, before he moved to the PDP shortly after he left office, and then to the Labour Party earlier this year. Now, ABGA is the ruling party and a strong force in Anambra State. And interestingly, the party's bigwigs have publicly told its supporters and the voting public in the state to vote only for the candidates of ABGA in 2023. And that's really contestable. And, you know, Soludo is there in office. He's of a party, an ABGA party. Now, it's going to be really a battle there on who really they will want to vote there. My take on this, some people will say, is that some people would rather not move and come out to vote that day. Some people will rather stay in the houses. But we've had elections in Anambra State, and some people say it's one of the freest or fairest elections Nigeria ever had recently because of the issues of the beavers. What's your take on this issue and the mindsets of people from Anambra State on who they will vote? This battle between the presidential candidate of ABGA and also the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, who is also from Anambra State. What do you think the battle will look like, Chief Loveday?
Well, for me, the too much. He was also in PDP, and circumstances made him to also leave PDP to pursue his dream. You see, if you just oppose it on what I was saying about Tinubu's interest,
okay,
the man who condemned him, saying that his interest is selfish, you now see that P2B2 has thrown himself first, his personal interest first, into the ring. Now he is being brought over by the obedience in Nigeria. So I want to say that the interest of Anambra alone, okay, assuming but not considering the fact that maybe Anambra will not vote or their vote will not count, whoever will be president will be president. However, their votes cut across Obi and the Abga president, somebody must win as the president of Nigeria. Therefore, I'm sure that at the end of the day, the Anambarians, the Igbos who are from Anambra, we also know how they are going to vote. Remember that what you see during the electionary campaign does not reflect much on the ballot boxes. After all, President Jonathan championed 35% affirmative action for women in elected positions and appointment through his wife. But in 2011, when Jonathan was running, during the primaries, a certain woman, I can't remember her name now, Jubril,
yes,
contested for that position of president of Nigeria.
And got one vote.
And got one vote,
sure.
Only her own vote. So that is to say that what you hear sometimes does not reflect in the polling booth. So I want to say and believe that at the end of the day, from what I'm seeing now, I am a member of People Democratic Party. But when it comes to political analysis, you say it objectively the way it is, as far as it affects Anambra State. P2B is from Anambra. And the question you ask yourself is, if obedience from Rivers State, Abia State, Enugu State, within Southeast and South, even in the West and North, where the deputy is coming from Kaduna, are saying that obedience is the best to happen for Nigeria now, then what do you talk about Anambra State? And I want to also tell you here, without any contradiction, that the most popular candidates that we have today are the three candidates, Atiku, Tinubu, and P2B. The Umezi you're talking about, I can't even remember him as one of the people contesting. I can't even remember the last of Kwakwa.
But he's known in Anambra State.
No, that's what I'm saying now.
So,
is he running for Anambra local government election?
He's running for Nigerian president. He's running to be Nigerian president. And the decision of the country will influence that of Anambra. So, he is just acting for him to be popular within the locality where he comes from and to be counted out as one of those who have contested the election for 2023 presidency.
Well,
so
it's still arguable. Afghans. Well, it's still that's your opinion. It's still contestable.
The opinion
yes.
Who is something to write home about, then Obi will win him in Anambra
Well,
State.
let's see how it really goes. Marcus, I'm taking you on this. Most people have called the Abga party as a sectional party for the East. For the East, it's not really spread across board, just like the way they term the NNPP, the Kwankwazoya movement to the north. Right, but in Abga, in Anambra State, we have a ruling party which is Abga, and they're emotionally attached to Abga because of the origination. Talking about the likes of Ojukwu, who's really been the arrowhead of the party from its inception, or being the brain behind the formation of Abga. Now, we have a dilemma really in Anambra State, which people have been contesting with. Who you think they will actually feud for the presidential candidate come 2023. We have Obi, who is also from Anambra State, and has left the party, which some members of Abga are not still really happy with. And now we have Umedi also, who also the presidential candidate from Abga. What's your opinion concerning this contest? Do you think there is really a dilemma in Anambra State?
I don't think so. I don't think. Incidentally, I got back from Anambra State last week. I think last week, Thursday and Friday, I was in Anambra State. I went to a certain community called Agulu. Agulu is where Dora Queenly comes from. And to get to Agulu, I needed to pick someone in Onisha who was coming from Abuja so that we can attend the same event. And Nnamdi, what I saw was that I saw people of other political parties with Obi's picture. I'm not joking.
Wait, are you very serious about this?
I took pictures. Unfortunately, I don't have them here. I traveled from Onisha, getting close to Oka, diverted into the route that took me to Agulu. passed all of that, and then turned around from Agulu through, came back to Nibo, and then to Abagana, and then to Oban, and I hit the express again back to Were. I saw not one, not two, not three people in other political parties running for National Assembly with their picture and their party logo below and Obi's picture on top. That started, I saw it for the first time in 2015 when Buhari was running in the north. We had people who were in PDP had Buhari as their presidential candidate because Buhari was a movement similar to what Obi is now. That is why everybody should be afraid of Obi right now. What is happening to Obi is exactly what happened to Buhari in 2015. He's coming on the strength of the streets, what Nigerians call streets. You may say they don't have structure. His structure is the streets. The regular guys you see, they are his structure. And somebody, one of my political, I won't mention his name here, told me something. There's something called dry votes. You know what dry vote means? When the people don't allow themselves to be used. When the people are determined that you will not use us, it's dry vote. You know, for you to rig, there must be a subtle acceptance for the person you want to rig for. The people must say, oh, now this person, oh yeah, give us the 2,000, go ahead. But if they don't want that person, even if you bring 50,000, 100,000, they will still not allow you. So Obi's winning in Anambra is not in contest. Good enough, Charles Soludo is not running. If Charles Soludo was running, it's not the same day. If you watch again, I'll liken him to Buhari in 2015. If you notice, there were places Buhari won National Assembly and presidential election 2 weeks earlier in 2015, and by 1 week later, during the governorship, or 2 weeks later, APC lost. A good example was Bauchi State and a few other states in the north. APC won presidential election in those states, and 2 weeks after, PDP won governorship in some of those states. So people are getting wiser. They are beginning to choose people not based on party basis, on individual basis. And don't forget, you still have big wigs. Former national chairman of ABGA, Victor Ome, is also running for Anambra Central in Labour. All of these people are latching on to Obi to benefit from the generosity of the votes that spirits will give Obi. So Anambra is a closed case. There's no doubt. In fact, that's where he's going to get one of the highest votes. Unfortunately for us, the agitation in the East, the agitation has dampened voter registration. So voting strength is greatly affected. But again, if what we're seeing on paper is correct, Anambra still can give up to 1 million votes if he wants.
Did you hear the rumor that said that Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, told them not to really vote for, be part of the obedient movement, and that rumor was actually debunked.
It remains a
by
rumor.
the press secretary of Chukwuma Soludo.
See, let me tell you, if you want to be suicidal in the East, oppose Obi. Opposing Obi in Southeast Nigeria, just like what is happening in the Southwest. And I don't want Nigerians to get too emotional and say, oh, don't be tribalistic. Oh, don't be religious. Let's vote the best man. This is not the first time it's starting. 1963, how did Nigerians vote? The North went with the Northern People's Congress. The West went with Action Group. The Southeast went with NCNC. How did they vote? There was Tafa Balewa and Amadou Bello in the North. There was an Awolowo in the West. And there was a Zik in the Southeast and Southeastern region, now Southeast and South-South. In 1979, what was the voting pattern? How did Shagari defeat Obafemi Awolowo and Zik? It's the same pattern of voting. So don't be afraid to say I'm voting him because he's Yoruba, I'm voting because he's Igbo. It's all part of it. It's your choice. Don't be afraid to say I'm voting because it's a Muslim ticket, or I'm not voting because it's a Muslim ticket. It's your choice. Make it public. There's no pretense about this matter. If religion is so important to you, don't vote because of religion or vote because of religion. If tribe is very important to you, vote because of the tribe. After all, when we come to our own local elections, down to councillorship, we still zone among families.
Doesn't it break the mantra of unity and togetherness?
We will be united. We are just saying
when you talk about the religious lines and also the tribalistic lines.
Let me tell you, Nandi,
tribal lines. That's what they have it.
Let me tell you this for free, and Nigerians who are listening. There is nothing wrong in voting in religious line. There's nothing wrong in voting in tribal lines. However, we must find a way to constitutionalize this matter now, because it has become part and parcel of our political culture. Zoning has become part of our political culture. You understand? So we cannot continue to shy away from something that keeps staring us in the face. Between me and you, Nandi, you prefer that I will be president than Peter Obi or Atiku or Tinubu because you have my number. Why? Is it because you think I'm the best man? There's a best man in every local government. There's a best man in every state. So let's zone this thing and let people take it turn by turn and do a Milocon around Nigeria. By the time it's the north are true, we do a Milocon to the east. If the east is true, we do a Milocon to south. Let's be a Milocon everywhere like that.
The middle belt?
Middle belt will take their own turn.
Well,
it's a Milocon for the Igbos. So let's
this
follow.
Was going around. We never had the middle belt really stay in power for Nigeria.
Middle belt had their share in the military era, and they can still have it again if they want. After the southeast.
Some people don't count the military era.
When it suits us, when it suits us, we take away the military era. When it doesn't suit us, we bring it in. Okay. Why are we pretending?
Military, we are human beings, just like you
are you going to say JTSP was never governor of Rivers State?
All right.
Because it's military.
Well, this matter is still contestable. We'll move on now to the next matter we have on ground. If you're joining us, this is the last lap we're having on Open Conversation. I've been speaking with Marcus Ijoma and also Chief Loveday Okere. Well, we're moving over now. The Benue Youth Forum, BYF, has accused the People's Democratic Party, PDP, presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar of supporting terrorists who killed people in Benue State. BYF said Atiku's recent careless and unfortunate statement justifying headers attacks in the state was a mockery of those killed. In a statement he issued on Thursday, Kanumum has said that careless and callous comments coming from an individual who is parading himself as a unifier clearly shows where he stands on the incessant invasion of Benue communities and massacre of people and the destruction of their property by well-armed Fulani militia men. That's the one matter on ground today. I don't know why this matter is still being really dragged, and some groups from one area or the other see put in it. It was first from the Benue governor, Samuel Oton, that actually raised up an eyebrow concerning the statement of Atiku Abubakar. Right. Now we have the youths of Benue State coming to put up their matters on ground today. Because we have short space of time, Chief Loveday, I'd like you to lend your voice to this and really give us some balanced view concerning this matter on ground. And you know, Samuel Oton has actually asked for apology, really, for a statement that the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has said. What's your take on this matter?
Nandi, any two Nigerians that mean well for this country must be sympathetic to the people of Benue State. It is true that the headquarters of Boko Haram is Borno State. But I want to tell you that
has it been confirmed by security agents?
That's Forest is in Borno State now. It's not their headquarters. You see, Nigeria will like pretending over something that is very obvious. When you try to say the truth, you know, people will try to utilize you. But I say the things the way it is. Boko Haram, the east headquarters is in Borno State via Sambisa Forest. It's established. It's no longer a secret. It's an open secret. Be that as it may, but I want to tell you that Benue State have suffered more loss in terms of killing in the hands of bandits, herdsmen, and the Boko Haram. And that was one of the reasons why Governor Oton left left the APC, because nobody was giving him listening ears and assistance required to serve his people. You remember that he was voted, he was on oath to make sure that lives and properties were saved. Yet, under his watch, lives and properties were killed because he was not the one directly responsible to the command of security agents. So the man shouted, and the only way what he could do is to fall back home, meet with his people who elected him, and they asked him, leave APC, and he did so. I want to tell you that since after the outburst of Oton, who actually made those comments about Atiku, there is a certain senator who was on air about 2 days ago, I can't remember his name here now, who also condemned the statement of Atiku and also gave Atiku the condition to apologize to many people. Before this, in fact, this of the use, I'm just hearing it now in this studio. So, you see, when you are contesting an election and you are acting in such a way that you do not care about the people, I wonder what you will do when you are even elected, when you are even on that power. You will crumble the people.
But Samuel Oton said that Atiku actually apologized. They had a WhatsApp chat. And he said Atiku apologized. It was in the news yesterday.
And he advised him to make it public.
Thank you. Okay, fine. But I'm not aware of that. If that has happened, they say, make it public. You remember that this same Atiku Abubakar, who is the candidate of my political party, People Democratic Party, tweeted when
Deborah was
killed in Sokoto
and deleted
State.
the tweets a few seconds
So when
later.
his people begin to react, he deleted it. Why did he delete it? Is it that he was comfortable with the killing of that young student? So what we are trying to say is that if you have described yourself as a unifier, let that your uniformity sense of existence be made practical to the people. You don't need to do certain things that says to be that look, you have a certain agenda that will endanger the life of the people when you are eventually elected. That's what the people of Benue State are saying. I can see you are giving some side. You don't have much time, but it's very important to buttress on this issue that whomever that is coming to govern Nigeria should not be a unifier by the words of mouth, but by your action.
All right. Thank you very much, Chief Lofty. Marcus, you'll be taking the last shot at this. Some people will say that this matter should be, laid low since we've had talks about it and since different groups have come out to say some things against these talks. Right now, the comment by the presidential candidate of the PDP, well, it's not really finding some resting ears or resting heads as we have it in Nigeria. What do you make of the Benue youth's comment concerning the presidential candidate of the PDP in person of Atiku Abubakar?
Nandi, I'm also a Benue youth because I was born there. I did my primary school, secondary school, university, all in Benue State.
Oh, okay.
I feel the pulse of Benue people. I've been part of culture, history of the people. However, a leader's personal ideological disposition will always affect his style. And this is not one, this is not twice. The presidential candidate of the PDP has been caught napping on issues that he would have stamped on to show his position as a unifier. And in my last comment here, I told you that people, Nigerians, one thing that especially our political elites know how to do is to pretend. They have mastered the act of pretense and hypocrisy. And what this means is that an obvious religious boycott is pretending not to be because you want to eat cow meat, you are calling cow brother. Because you want to win election, criminals have now become your friends. So it has always been an issue. And Nigerians must watch out for these double-sided people who only talk when it suits them. And when it does not suit them, they keep mute. Number two, let's assume that Atiku is a Muslim and he did all of that. What is Okowa saying about it? Who is a Christian? Who is his running mate? If Governor Tom have asked you to publicly, that text you are sending to me or the WhatsApp message, tell your media team, I watched that interview Governor Tom granted, tell them to put it on National Daily or on the news, on the television. Let it be a public apology. But he knows that he's banking on a certain religion and a certain tribe to vote for him. So apologizing for the action of suspected people from that tribe will make him lose those votes. You are not, Atiku Abubakar is not the only one banking on that vote. It was the same vote that led Tinubu into carrying a Muslim ticket. It is the same vote that Kwankwaso is banking, the same religion, the same tribe. So I don't know how many of you are going to share that vote eventually. You understand? So the earlier they associate themselves with Southern and Christian sentiments, since they are already from one part, that is the only way you can show uniformity and unity. That is why some of us are angry with Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking a Muslim ticket. That is why we are angry with Atiku for not speaking up. When people who are said to be from his sect are misbehaving and he's not speaking out against them. That silence speaks more volume than any tweet, than any press release he can issue. So Atiku Abubakar, if he's indeed a unifier, he needs to add the drama better.
All right.
For now, the script is not working well.
Okay, well, we'll see how things will also unfold. It's been really scripted issue here today, an open conversation. Well, the script actually not really a formal script, an informal one as we act here in open conversation. And it's been fact about politics and unrestricted viewpoints here today. And if you're just joining us, I'm afraid this is where we're drawing the curtain today on today's episode. Right now, I've been speaking with social political analyst and a community leader, Chief Lofty Okere, and also we have also political public affairs analyst and also an expert communicator, Marcus Ijoma. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming today.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being here.
All right, you out there, I owe you great thanks also for staying with me all through. But if you did miss any segment of the program today, not to bother, you could go on our social media handles. Twitter at Atlantic TV Network, Facebook and YouTube is at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram it's at Atlantic TV Network. Just remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. God bless you. See you on Sunday, 10 a.m. God willing, God bless you. Bye-bye.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
For the Nigerian government to stop killing its people and
every day our lives are changed by history.